All right, Rich Van Tassel here. I'm not going with anything in sports. What we're talking about right now is a review for the show Outsiders that premiered last night on WGN America. Now, I'm hoping that most of you have WGN America. I have Xfinity Comcast, so I was able to watch it. It's a show about people living in the Appalachian Mountains. I believe it was Kentucky. It may have been on the border of Kentucky and Virginia, but you get the sense of where the geography is in those Appalachian areas and the mountains there, Western Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, all that stuff. There's a family, or I guess you would say a clan. They're called the Ferrells. They live on top of the mountain, and basically early on, the main conflict that's going on in the show is there's a coal company that's trying to get the land, so they're trying to evict them. They're enlisting the help of the police chief of the town to evict them. Now, a lot obviously has not played out yet because it was only the first episode last night. But you get the sense that the police chief doesn't believe they're going to be able to drive them off. They kind of reveal more and more throughout the show about how they've been up there for 200 years. They are, entrenched there. They rely on each other, and they're just difficult to move out. He makes a comment that 25 years ago they tried to get him off, and people have died. Um, so you have that part of it. Meanwhile, the people, the ferals on the hill, inbred, they're your typical hill folk that you would think of when you think about the people of Appalachia. There's no other way to put it. There's some internal struggle between them. The top lady, who is known as Lady Ray, who's basically the head. They call it a Brennan in the show, but she is running the tribe. And then there's another person, Big Foster, who's trying to take over. So you have the internal struggle there of the clan. And then you also have things that are going down in the town. Again, it was the first episode. These things have to reveal themselves throughout, but they're certainly laying a lot of seeds to be planted and sprout throughout the show. I happen to like it. These are the things I like. These are the type of shows. I sort of have a bit of a soft spot for Appalachia. I've been through it many times. I've been to Pittsburgh, the biggest city out in Appalachia. Certainly, I've never been to the hill country and, lived in these areas where you have people like that. But you have people like that in New Jersey, for those of you who don't know. I am from New Jersey, in case any of you don't know. But up in the Ramapo Mountains, in the Mawa area, you have people just like this. I know it's hard to believe that, this close. People would think it's only, down there and all those hicks down in Virginia and Kentucky. I don't like to use the term hicks. I don't like to label people like that. But we have people like that here in New Jersey, so it's certainly interesting. You can watch the show and you do get a sense of, the people that are right around your neighborhood. I have no, I have no intention of ever running into the people in the Ramapo Mountains either. So I stay away from them. As much as I'm not gonna stigmatize them, they're certainly not people I'd ever want to really cross because they're, a different way. They live a different lifestyle. But certainly it's interesting, and I love when television shows dive into people like this. And you have all the stuff. There's a lot of sex in the show. If that's your thing, there's certainly all the types of family battles, family disputes, rise to power, all those things, internal battles. So it's an interesting show. It's on WGN America if anyone's interested. Today is Thursday the 28th. They are holding an encore of last night's premiere at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to watch that, certainly just check it out and see what you think. You have some good actors. You do have David Morse, who was I guess he'd be most famous for playing the guy of Brutal or Brutus in the movie The Green Mile, the big prison guard. I mean, he was in 16 Blocks. He played one of the corrupt police officers. He's been in a lot of things. Most recently, if anyone saw Concussion, he played Mike Foster, the guy who, the center for the Pittsburgh Steelers who kills himself. So he's certainly a very accomplished actor. He's been in many things. You would certainly recognize the guy when you see him. You may not recognize him by name. Ryan Hurst as well is in it. For those of you who don't know who Ryan Hurst is, most recently he was Opie Winston on the show Sons of Anarchy. Many people should know that. If you can believe it, he was also the guy in Remember the Titans who played Gary Bertier. That's the dude who gets paralyzed. I know he looks a lot different, especially from his Sons of Anarchy days, and now he's nowhere near as clean cut as he used to be. But you do have some quality actors on the show. So check it out. There's your review for that. I laid a bit of a groundwork, but obviously watching it would be the best way to know more about it. And just figured I'd give you a little, you know, insight into it. I liked it, and hopefully you all will enjoy it if you watch it. So that's it for that. And again, we'll be on the radio tomorrow, 90.5 HD3, Brookdale Student Radio. And any flash news alerts that may happen today, we'll give them. And tomorrow before I go on the radio as well. So enjoy the rest of your day, folks.